up? I got Naskin here with me. This ain't a diss song, but yeah, you know what it is. I'm a cheesehead, y'all niggas cheese whiz. Pittsburgh Steelers, that's nothing. That Super Bowl ring, that's nothing. Pull up in your town when you.
We're going to start. There's a Cal football behind you, big donation.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
Just how did all of that come about, and why did you decide to do all of that?
Well, like I said, I love my time at Cal. We had a lot of fun there at my 2 years. Justin Wilcox was a buddy at the time. You know, he wasn't that much older than some of us JUCO guys. And to see him go from assistant linebacker coach to around the country and even to the University of Wisconsin as a big-time defensive coordinator, getting him back as a head coach is very important, I think, to our program. And one of the first things he did was he reached out to a lot of us from that 03 and 04 teams and kind of brought us back into the fold and made us feel like that we were a part of the program again. And I think that's the beauty in college athletics, is you can do that with the right people in charge and charismatic people who care about furthering the university's sports programs and as far as the football program is concerned, raising men who are going to be great husbands, great fathers, great businessmen, and great in their community, and that's what Justin and his staff are doing. And so it's really two-part. One, to improve the facilities there, which obviously helps them out in recruiting. Then the second is really a legacy thing for me, being a junior college player and being able to have a scholarship that goes to a junior college transfer really means a lot to me, because I was that guy, and there were, I think, 9 other guys in our class who really were, I think, a big part of turning the program around under Coach Tedford.
Aaron, you when we were doing the radio show, you were pretty unhappy though with what Jeff Tedford was dealing with, and you mentioned specifically the facilities. And then one of your games against Oregon was on like old TV recently, and during the game there was a sideline interview with the chancellor or the athletic director talking about how badly they needed to upgrade the facilities. So now that you've done this, how hopeful are you that the facilities will get the kind of upgrades that they need to help Cal?
Well, the facilities have gone through a tremendous upgrade, I think, over the years. My issue was that for years they promised Jeff that they were going to get it done, Coach Tedford, and so he was recruiting to it, even to my class in 2002 in December, and it didn't get finished until after he was fired. So he didn't get a chance to really recruit to those facilities. You know, we had the nudist folks, had a rally there. We had some people living in the trees for a while. We had 2 lawsuits. Like we always say, only in Berkeley, some of these things. But they finally got it done. I mean, the facilities are amazing now. This just helps out with the locker room, because there's some other schools in the Pac-12 now that really have some big-time money behind them that makes it a little more difficult to recruit some of those kids who are, choosing between a Cal and a Stanford or an Oregon, or, well, not Stanford really, but maybe Washington, some of these other schools. So it just gives us a chance. And then obviously, the junior college players that we brought to the program were really important during those 2 years, not just for the talent on the field, but the culture. And a number of us actually played in the NFL for anywhere from a few years to many years. But those JUCO kids can really help improve a program quickly. So to have a scholarship for those guys is really important, I think.
Speaking of Cal, you've been here, Trevor Davis has been here a couple of years now. Where's his progress showing up in terms of the ability to contribute to the offense?
Well, the key for Trevor is just staying healthy. When he's healthy, he's been productive for us. He's been a top 5 return guy when he's fully healthy. The tough thing is finding opportunities to get on the field. But now with obviously with Jordy and James and Randall gone, there's opportunities for him to get in the mix at receiver. And he's making a lot of plays. We joke about how the perfect throw to Trevor is either behind him, way in front of him, or above his head where he's got to jump, because he's he's almost 100% on those plays. So we'll laugh sometimes. You throw it behind him, he makes this like super routine kind of behind him catch, doesn't really break stride, and that's a perfect pass because it's right in the sweet spot. But he's done a nice job for us every day. He's there's been kind of one play he's made that jumps out on the film, and you just got to keep rolling when we get the pads on.
Where has MVS made the biggest steps, do you think?
Well, I just think it's a comfort in the offense. really a comfort with his releases. You know, I always say it, you know, for a young guy, the most important thing to do is to watch the older guy in the group. And we've long had great role models in the receiver room with those three guys I mentioned, James and Jordy and Randall, but now it's Devontae. And what he does on a daily basis, his practice habits, his release patterns are incredible. He's a true pro's pro, where he's working on things every single day. And I think MVS has really been watching him closely and picking things up and playing as fast as his time. I think that's an issue with any player, is you might time at a super quick 40, but how fast do you play? It's at football speed. It's kind of the opposite for a guy like James Jones, who timed kind of slow, but he played fast. MVS is playing a lot closer to his 40 time speed, which is saying a lot because he's pretty damn fast.
What are your thoughts on Jay Sternberger so far?
Hold on, Chris. We just got a quiet question over here. Yeah.
Just your thoughts,
1 second.
Your thoughts on Jace and the job he's done so far?
Well, I just saw he signed, so he's probably got a little coin in his pocket now, which is good for him. But the tight end room is very deep. You know, we haven't had the big fella around a whole lot, Mercedes, but you know, Jimmy's made a ton of plays, and Bobby is, you know, a very reliable guy, and Evan has done a nice job too. So there'll be some great competition. I haven't taken a ton of reps with Jace, but the key for any young player again is no repeat mistakes. And I remember specifically, we had a certain concept. He made a mistake early on, and then, you know, like 3 days ago, we were in the same concept, but he learned from that mistake. So that's what you want to see is that the mental growth and aptitude in the offense, and then when you get in that situation, kind of having that click in and not making the same mistake twice. So, you know, again, the tight end position, much like the offensive line position, when you put the pads on, things change. So I'll be looking forward to seeing how we adjust when we get the pads on in training camp.
Aaron, how would you describe Devontae's ability with that hesitation step? He's talked about it as likening to a killer crossover dribble in basketball. How unique is that? How would you describe that ability, and how does that enhance his game? Because you don't see a lot of guys with that quick twitch ability to change direction.
Well, I hope he sees this, but of all people to make basketball analogies, after his latest shooting performance, I think he should be the last person to do that, because his jumper was very suspect. But that being said, he does have an incredible release pattern. It's tough to stop because he's so dynamic in breaking, and he has enough speed to get on top. You know, as opposed to some guys who are extremely quick in a tight environment, most of the time they don't have the speed to get on top. So most guys can kind of slow play a route if they want to stay tight to him. But because he's proven he can get on top and catch the ball down the field, it makes his, you know, at the line of scrimmage ability that much more effective. His jumper is still terrible.
Aaron, I'm not sure what your expectations were.
You and then you, Spin, sorry.
I'm not sure what your expectations were with the new offense and learning curve with it all, but are you happy with where you're at heading into a 6-week break coming up?
I think we still have some things to work through. You know, I think there's some little nuances that we got to keep talking through as far as some of the signals and adjustments and stuff that they'll be important moving into training camp, because this training camp will be different for all of us as opposed to last for me 13 years, because we actually have a team coming in, and then I would assume, as opposed to years past, I'd probably get a little more work in the preseason. So we need to get some things ironed out before that. But I feel like as far as what we have installed, I do feel good about that. We have a ton of concepts, and we've got enough reps during the course of the OTAs to feel a lot more comfortable with it. But we still need to iron out a couple details, which I'm sure we'll get finished up this week.
In general, are you trying to stay in the pocket a little more just because you're doing new offensive training, trying to get guys used to running the offense? And then, if that's true, when will that change? When will you start working on
Game one, play one. No, I mean, I think it comes down to instincts, Spoon. That's the most important thing when you get there and play. But I think you can retrain some of those instincts as well. And with a new offense, I'm really trying to trust the progressions in my eyes and learn timing on different things. And in order to do that, you really have to give it a chance to develop. But that being said, you know, once you get into a live environment, I'm not just going to stand there in the face of a, bearing down, defensive lineman and get rocked, especially in the preseason. So I think the most important thing for me is just to train my eyes so I know exactly where guys are going to be and when progressions kind of open up. And once I have that down, I feel like I've got it down pretty well. Then I can just go out and play.
That's something you purposely worked in camp in previous years, though, right?
Yeah,
Holding
definitely.
it and then seeing how guys were they would go.
Yeah,
That's something you envision.
I think, yeah, like I said, I think you can retrain some of those instincts, but in order to do it, you have to exaggerate some of those things. You have to, we're working on drills today, and I was reminding, a couple of members of the staff, in order to really ingrain something in the minds of these guys working the drill, you have to over-exaggerate stuff. And the same thing when I go through my drill work is in order for it to kind of start to lock in, some I've done maybe for years and years and years, you have to over-exaggerate things, and that's some of the stuff I've been working on this offseason.
Aaron, I did want to ask
Two
you
more for Aaron.
a basketball question. It's going to be the last time that we talk to you, assuming that Giannis wins MVP. I have a kind of a two-part question. For you, what has it been like watching Giannis play during this MVP season? I know you've seen it up close and personal, and also as somebody that's won MVP in the past, how has your life changed, and maybe some advice you might have for how Giannis is mine?
Well, he's about to get paid a ton of money, so I don't think I need to give him any advice about that, except for maybe put your money into stuff that is going to mature slowly, so you have some money at the end of your life. But he's been a phenomenal player. The biggest thing that I think he's done that is extraordinary for a guy who's really that young. We got to remember how young he is he's just embraced the culture of Milwaukee and the team, and even stuff like saying no to Space Jam, if that's true or not. He's really kind of sunk into the culture in Wisconsin. He's not a rah-rah guy. He's not out there making it all about himself. Clay used to tease him about going to Hollywood, but he's not a Hollywood guy. I don't feel like I am either. I do enjoy a good cameo every now and then that hopefully gets me a little FaceTime as opposed to his last one. But Giannis has done a great job of embracing what it means to be a Midwest inhabitant, and he should win the MVP. And I don't think his life will change a whole lot. I don't know if his mom's still living with him, but at some point it might be good to kind of separate that, to get him out on his own a little bit, maybe get his own place. He's about to get paid a ton of money, maybe get here a place in town as well. But I'm excited about the future of him, and hopefully having him be a lifer in Milwaukee, because there's something special about playing your entire career in the Midwest.
Aaron, you talked about a lot of wide receivers today. You were ahead of the curve on Jake Kumerow last year. He had 20 touchdowns from you today. What have you seen from his development from when you kind of were impressed with him early last year to now?
Well, the key is and you guys know, and you'll write about it from time to time, is being reliable and earning my trust. And I've never felt like there's been a real difficult recipe or plan. It's what you're doing, and you're in the right spot at the right time, and you don't make repeat mental mistakes. And that is not who Jake Kumerow is. He is an extremely intelligent guy who's in the right place at the right time. He makes contested catches. He makes the plays that are there, and he does little things. Like I'm always, I'm always applauding in an overt way to let the other guys know this is how you practice. He made a catch. You guys weren't there a couple days ago in the back of the end zone, and he made a supernatural toe drag. It's just something that a lot of guys don't do. They might just, 1-2 it real quick and kind of run out the back of the end zone, but he 1-2 toe drag. Just little things like that he does, I think almost innately, that separates him from a guy you might not trust as much, because the guy's going to do it right. He's going to always be in the right spot. He knows what he's doing all the time and what the other guys are doing. And then when he gets a chance to make plays, he makes plays. And he does it in a super classy, understated way. So, obviously, I'm a big fan of him. I don't think I need to keep going on that.
Did you watch the finals last night? Your thoughts on KD? And do you feel for him and your head coach, I guess, having similar injuries?
Yeah, I mean, I've been there with the calf before. It seems like it maybe was more Achilles all along. I'm just going to echo the sentiments that I saw that his mom put out a tweet, and many others have as well. For anyone to question, his toughness or his willingness to be a good teammate. I'm sure many people were probably speculating, is he just trying to get to free agency because he has a big payday going? No, this guy had a rough injury, in the previous series, decided to come back and put his body on the line in a must-win game, and unfortunately had a repeat. I will say this, I've been in the situation before, and I've seen it in other stadiums. I do think that it is a little bit disgusting to cheer a player getting hurt and having to leave the field. I think, there's no place for that in sports, and I just think that I understand, you buy a ticket, you feel entitled to say whatever you want, but I do believe in sportsmanship and class, and I just think there was zero of that, and I'll echo Boogie's comments when it comes to that. There's just no place for that in sports, and I applaud Kevin for his willingness to go out there. Steph, and the way that Steph played and Clay played, especially down the stretch there, those 3 threes was incredible. And I've always, I'm a friend of Steph. I know Steve. I have a lot of respect for that organization, and it was a big time win.
So, I just love my team. Yeah, that's the team with them big G's on the helmet.